Hi Stan. So here we go. I hope I understood your requirements right. You were quite detailed. So to recap, you would like that when you create a new lead and the lead status is changed from new to assigned to sales, that automatically there's a task created with a specific subject, contact by phone, and a due date of tomorrow, and assigned to the lead owner. Then you want some sort of automatic follow-up process so that a lead is called 3 times and that the lead status is each time changed or adapted accordingly. So the second step would be the task is picked up by a sales rep or telesales. They try to contact that lead again, and they have no contact, and they will change the status of the task to finished. And you have a custom field task result, which is a pick list field with positive or negative outcome. And they choose a negative outcome because they had no contact. Then the lead status has to be changed to lead no answer first attempt, and automatically create a new task with the same subject, due date for the day after, assigned to the lead owner again. They will try a second attempt. Again, it's finished and the result is negative. There's no contact. Again, the current lead status has to be updated to lead no answer second attempt, and a third task should be created with the same subject, again a due date for the third day, and assigned to the lead owner. And that's the last attempt you're going to make. When at that time they try to contact them and they don't have the customer or the prospect online, the task result is set to negative, also finished, and the lead status has to be adapted to dead lead. But if the lead has an email address, you want to send a standard email to that lead with some sort of sales talk. I have constructed this as per your requirement, and it works just fine. I'm gonna show you in a minute. What I didn't do is your last requirement. That's when the field status is change finished and set to positive, so you have contact, that automatically the lead is converted to an account, a contact, and an opportunity. I didn't do this because I think you have to do something yourself also. And I will show you a URL where there is an Apex class from the developer boards. You can call from a flow, and that's also what I did for those first requirements. I used process builder, workflow rule, and one flow, visual workflow, to do all this. So we're gonna hit to Salesforce. So I create a new lead, standard lead, and I will give it a test recording, follow-up, process, follow-up, process. No, call it Jan van der Velde. That's me. Oops. And also gonna give an email address. That's for the last step. So okay, and lead source. Oops. Okay, and I have to give it a language also, and save it. So a new lead is created. Or you can bulk upload them, and there will be a time that somebody takes action. So per your requirement, when the lead status is changed from new to assigned to sales, I created your exact statuses. So assigned to sales, save it. We see open activities is 0, save, and we have one activity with a due date of tomorrow, 17th of May. We are actually today the 16th, so that's a due date of tomorrow. So we are tomorrow, somebody picks up the task calls the lead, has no contact, and will change the task result to negative, no contact, and finish this task. Save it. Okay, and when we go up to the lead now, we will see that lead status is changed to no answer first attempt, and there's a second task created, not started. Yes, this is also for tomorrow because the formula is today, or the date when the task is created plus 1. Because I'm doing it all now, yes, it's always tomorrow. We are at the second attempt. The result is negative again, and we will put the status in. Oh, can't do this. I have to edit it completely. Negative and finished. So, oops. And we will look at the lead again. It's changed from lead no status, no answer second attempt, and a third task is created, not started, again day plus 1. And then the last attempt, we will try to contact him, and again it's negative, and it's finished, and we say save. We will look at the lead, and the lead is now become a dead lead. There's no next activity because there's no action to be done, but the customer has received an email. I think it's no, that's the task status. This is the email for the customer. Email notification to lead after 3 attempts. Blah blah. Dear, we tried to reach you. You put anything what you want in that thing. So how did I do it? First of all, for the first assignment, when the lead is created and we change it from new to assigned to sales, I created a workflow rule. I'm gonna show you that workflow. Oh, so workflow rules. Okay, and then where is it? Don't know where it is anymore. Create assigned to lead here. Create task on lead assigned to sales. This one has a formula in it, so it's created and every time it's edited, but we are gonna look at the is changed value of the status to be sure it went from the first status new to assigned to sales, and only then will that first workflow rule work. So is changed the status, and is if the prior value of the status was new and the new value of the status is assigned to sales, the workflow rule should action. And the action is pretty easy. It's the first task, contact by phone. Same thing, rule trigger date plus 1, and it will put the values subject contact by phone as per your request. So this first one is just to set the whole process up, and all other stuff will happen with Process Builder, because the Process Builder will work on your tasks. So because the first task is created, it's the task which will always trigger the status update. So in Process Builder, I created a process update lead on task finish, and it's always the same. For the 3 tasks, it will look at the object task and with criteria if it's negatively finished. So when conditions are met, the subject of the task has to be contacted by phone. Exactly that, because otherwise all other tasks would also trigger this process. The status should be finished and the task result should be negative. If that's all true, then we go to we will launch a flow called in this case I call the action update delete, but the flow is actually called lead follow-up process with auto tasks. How you want to name it, that's up to you. And we will pass it the task ID. So the field, the variable I created in the flow is called getTaskID, and it will reference the task ID from this task that triggered the flow. So we will pass in the ID of the task that triggered it to the variable in the flow getTaskID, and that will let us query the task fields, because in Process Builder we didn't have access. I looked it up, I didn't find it. We don't have access to the who ID, and the who ID is the lead or the contact that is linked to the task, and we need that to know which lead we have to update and to look up the status, the current status, and such. So this Process Builder flow will trigger for all type of tasks from your follow-up process. I'm gonna go back to this one so you see the screen again. So task result negative, status finished, task subject equals contact by phone, and well, an immediate action, launch the flow. This is the flow name, lead follow-up process with auto tasks. Pass it the task ID to a variable in the flow, get task ID, and activate it, of course. Now we are gonna watch the flow itself. So I go to flow, and you can find it with workflow and approvals flows. It's not a workflow rule, it's flow, visual flow. And here we have lead follow-up process with auto tasks. You can see it's version 4 already. I deleted the first 3 versions because I built it up in little pieces. I first did the first requirement, that worked, okay, move on, second version, and it took 4 versions to have it completely run. So when I open up the lead follow-up process, I hope you will be able to follow, but I think so. It's pretty straightforward. The first thing I did was in resources, I created a new variable, which I gave the name of, what was it? No, actually it was, I think, an S-object variable. Where is it? Constant. No, it was a variable. Get task ID was it? Yes, that was the one. Get task ID, which you remember we passed it from the process builder. We gave the task ID to a variable called get task ID. It's in the Explorer. I can see. I think. Yeah, here it is. Variable get task ID. So just to look it up, it's text because the ID is passed as text, and input only, so we can only receive it from the process builder. Then the first thing I did was create a fast lookup. So fast lookup, you can find it here. Fast lookup, you drag it to the canvas, and when we click edit, you will see we will query the task with the ID that has passed. So lookup task, where the ID equals the get task ID variable. So that contains the ID we received from the process builder. And we want to save this in a variable called task found. And we want to save from the task the who ID, that's the lead ID that is linked, the owner ID, the task result, because we need that for the decisions, the what ID we don't need it, but I just put it in, and the subject. So when that's done, we query the task with the ID passed. We have the fields. Now we're gonna do the same thing, but we're gonna look up the lead that is linked. So it's also a fast lookup. Lookup lead from task. Lookup is a lead where the ID equals the task found who ID. As I mentioned, it's the who ID contains a contact or a lead. The what ID is opportunity, account, or case that can be related to a task. So this is the who ID, and when we find the lead in this case, we will save it as a variable lead found. If it's null, we will say it's null, but normally we will receive that. And we want to capture the lead fields, the owner ID, the status of the lead, the ID itself, and the email for the last step in the process. And we hit OK. Then we have our task, we have the lead. Now we have to make a decision. As per your requirement, we will base our decision on the status, the current status of the lead itself. So I dragged a decision element in it, and the decision element will look up which status are we in on the lead. And I have 3 outcomes if assigned to sales. Yeah. So if I assign to sales, we will look up lead found. The found lead, its status equals assigned to sales. We have a second outcome that is if lead no answer first attempt, lead status equals lead no answer first attempt. And the third one is if lead no answer second attempt, lead found status equals lead no answer second attempt. The default outcome is not defined because all others, if it's not one of those 3 statuses, we don't want him to do anything. So we made that decision, and you see the 3 things he has to do when it has a certain status. So we start with the first one here, if assigned to sales. We will do an update of the lead record. So update the lead record where the ID equals the lead found ID from the previous steps, and we want to put the status in lead no answer first attempt. That's all. Also, at the same time, we want to create a new follow-up task and create the second follow-up task. This is, we create a task, we set the activity date to a formula called date plus 1. You can do this by going here, formulas, date plus 1, maybe, how can I show you the formula? Oh, Explorer, formulas, date plus 1, edit. Okay, created a variable formula with a unique name. I called it date plus 1, and in the formula there is just flow current date plus 1. So when we close the task, the flow will run. So it's today plus 1 we have to assign. Okay, going back. So create the new task record, activity date, date plus 1. The owner ID of the task is lead found owner ID. The status not started or new, or depending on your first status. The subject has to be contact by phone. That's important for Process Builder because it's one of his criteria. And the who ID is lead found ID. So we link the lead to that new task. And that's all to it. We don't have to assign a variable of the created record because we're not going to do anything with it. Here he just has to create the record and stop the flow. So that task is created. So when a sales rep picks up that task and calls for its first attempt, or first attempt, and it's finished and the result is negative, the process builder kicks in, launches the flow, passes the task ID, we look up the lead, and we go into the decision element. But now, because we have updated the lead to no answer first attempt, it's not this decision anymore, but it's this decision. And this decision is just the same. Record update, we will change the lead with ID equals to the lead found ID, and we change the status to lead no answer second attempt. That's all. And we create a new follow-up record again with the same variables as in our first step. We don't remember the ID of the newly created record because we don't need it. And the process will run again. We are a day past, last attempt. So if process builder passes it in, we come to the decision, but now the status of the lead is second attempt. So we will go to the last step, and it will do a record update when we close the task, finish the task with a negative result. It will update the lead with ID, lead found ID, and put the status in dead lead. And after that, we make a decision again, because you said when it's a dead lead, we want to look at the lead if it has an email address. And if it has an email address, you want to send a mail. And otherwise, we don't do anything. So we made another decision element, and that decision element just says email address is filled. I call it the outcome has email, and I say the lead found, its email is null, false. So when the outcome says that the lead found its email field is null, false, so it's not null, then we have to do something, and otherwise we don't do anything. So if an email address is found, has email, we will launch an email that I created. I created just a little template, and we will just pass it the leadfound.id. And that's all. It will send the email. So the email, you have to, don't forget to activate your process. The email is just an email template. I know you create. It's for this use case, it's an unfiled public email templates, and I called it lead email after 3 attempts. Just put in some text in here. That's all. I put it available for use. And to use this email in the visual workflow, you have to create not a workflow rule, but the action, the email action, email alert action. So workflow rules. Within workflow rules, we have email alerts, and we have to create an email alert already before we can use it in the flow. So email alert after 3 attempts. It's like you create the email alert in a workflow rule, but without the workflow rule. So it's called email alert after 3 attempts. The object is the lead, the email template is the one we just created, and we say recipient type is an email field from the lead, and it's the standard email field, and it can be sent from the current user, so which is the sales rep who triggers the flow. So going back to our flow, just to show you how you can access that that email alert action. You will find it in the sidebar. There it goes. So in the sidebar you have record updates and all those things, but you also have specific actions, and it's not a quick action, it's an email alert, and within email alerts you will find lead, and here it is, lead email alert after. So once you created that email alert and the email template, you will be able to use it here and drag and drop it just on the canvas and give it the lead ID, so it knows on which object it has to be sent. That's all. So I hope I helped you with this. The last step, you can adapt the process builder with another criteria on the tasks. Where was it? I didn't do this one with the conversion because yeah, this part already took a lot of time, and I want you to do to try it yourself also. Um, the most of the part is already done, but you see that this process kicks in every time this task is finished negative. So you could add another criteria here, finished positive, which will um, update the lead status, but also kick an Apex class that does the lead conversion for you. Um, yeah, I was going to show you. Convert lead flow Salesforce. I have found some here. Sample process plugin implementation for lead conversion. This is an Apex class and the test class from Salesforce itself. So an Apex class, just copy paste this, and this is the test class, so you can deploy it to production. And this process.plugin will convert your lead into an account, a contact, and maybe an opportunity if you set it so. And it can be launched from a flow. Here, this implement can be called from a flow via an Apex plugin element. So you first create the classes and the task class, and then you will call it from a visual flow. So in our flow, we could have in the decision element, we could have an outcome that says, or you can set up another flow, and in process builder you have the criteria finished positive and call that other flow to do just an update of the lead status to convert it or something like that, and to kick this Apex class in so it converts it. Yeah, that's it for today. Hope that I helped you with this. I'm sure you're gonna find your way with it. I think it's exactly what your requirements asked, except for the conversion step. But now it's up to you. Thanks.